Okay, number 7, we want to write a system that would correspond to this augmented matrix, and then we want to perform these row operations and give the given result of the augmented matrix. So again, do they tell us what variables to use? They don't in this one. But since we see that we have 3 terms, we're going to do x, y, z. That's just standard, x, y, z. Okay, so you can look at anything that you want. I'm going to look down my column 277. So I'm going to look for my answer. It got 277, but it has w's with it, so we don't need variables over there. This one has all zeros, so that would not be correct. These two both have 277. Okay, so from there, I can now look at one row at a time. So 1, -7, 4 in that order. 1, -7, 4, x, y, z. 1, -7, 4, but it does not have its z there. So that's the difference. We want option C. All you have to do is kind of match up the terms with your variables. Remember x, y, z, since we have 3. And C is going to be our best answer choice here. Okay, so now we have 2 operations that we're going to be doing. And I'm going to do those again by hand and also by calculator. I want to show you how to manipulate this calculator, which is a powerful tool. So I'm going to start out with the original matrix, 1, -7, 4, and then 2 on the other side. And then we have 5, -6, 8, and then 7. And then we have -8, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so the first one we want to do is we're going to change row 2. And we're going to do one at a time. We're going to change row 2. It's going to be equal to -5 times row 1 and plus row 2. So this is the process that you would go through if you wanted to completely get this guy in reduced row echelon form or even just row echelon form. The reason why they pick -5 is because we want to do the opposite sign but the same number, so that when I do -5 times this and add it, it becomes 0. And that's my goal, is to make zeros right below. This is the first step. And so that's what we're doing with each of these operations. So the first one, row 2 is being changed. Everything else will stay the same. So I'm going to leave 1, -7, 4, 2. Even row 3 is staying the same for this first operation. -8, 3, 5, and 7. So only row 2 is changing. I'm going to multiply row 1 by 5. So by -5. So times a -5 will give me -5. Times -5 will give me a positive 35. Times -5 will give me -20. And then times -5 will give me -10. -10. I'm running off my page. Okay, that is row 1 times -5. Now we're going to add to that row 2. So right below it, I'm going to put these numbers: 5, -6, 8, and 7. And we're going to add them up. And it's going to be my new row 2. That becomes a 0. This will be 29. This will give me -12. And then on the other side, we get -3. So 0, 29, -12, and -3. So we have done this row operation right here. So that's my new row 2. So that's what that is. Now, picking back up here, we're going to do the second one, which says we're going to change row 3 to 8 times row 1 plus row 3. So now we're going to do row 3 equals 8 times row 1 plus row 3. So again, why are they choosing 8? Because it is negative 8 here. We want to multiply that by 8 so that when I add these up, I get zeros below it. So you would do that for each row all the way across. And again, I will do this by hand for you. So now row 1 and row 2 will stay the same. Row 3 is changing. So I'm going to do this one more time with the full matrix. And we get 1, -7, 4. And then we have 2. And then this row is going to stay the same as well. So 0, 29, -12, -3. And now we're going to do 8 times this row. So 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 7. 8 times -7 is a -56. And then 8 times 4 is 32. And you also do this number. 8 times 2 is 16. All right, and we're going to add to that row 3. So this is the row 3. So the -8 below there. And then 3, 5, and 7. Just copy this row right below it. And then combine, add those up. So this will go to 0 right there. This will give us a -53. So -53. And then right here we get 37. So 37, 37. And then right here we will get 23. Okay, so this will be your overall final answer. So let's do that again with the calculator. I want you to see how to do by hand with the calculator. It is a lengthy process, so take your time, be careful. Lots of possible places to make mistakes with multiplying, carrying over numbers, adding, mixing up rows. It's a lot to be careful of. So where's my calculator? Here. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to go second matrix. And I'm going to actually quit second matrix. All right, so I'm going to go over to edit. And I just want to change up A. I don't need that one anymore, so I'm going to go enter here. I need to tell it how many rows, how many columns. So with this one, I needed 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to start from the original. So I'm going to start at the top. So 1, and then -7, and then 4, and then 2, 5, -6, 8, and 7. So you can use a negative on the keyboard. It has to be the one right below or left of 0. That's the one you use for negative. And then -8, 3, 5, and 7. All right, I'm going to go second quit. Get back to my home screen. I'm going to just clear this. Now I'm going to call that matrix back just to make sure I inserted my data correctly. So second matrix. I'm going to hit enter, enter. And just double check. 1, -7, 4, 2, 5, -6, 8, 7, -8, 3, 5, 7. Okay, everything looks good. Now we're going to perform this operation here. So I'm going to say second matrix. We're going to arrow over to math. If you arrow up, you can get there faster than arrowing down. Here we're going to do times a row and then add it to another one. So this is the option. What we're going to do, we're going to multiply by -5. So I'm going to do -5 and then comma. I'm going to tell it what matrix we're using. So second matrix and insert A. We're using matrix A. We're going to be multiplying row 1. So I'm going to put a number 1 here, comma, and then we're going to be adding that to row 2. So I'm going to put a number 2, and then I'm going to close parentheses and let them know that I'm done. And when I hit enter, what we should see is this augmented matrix with those values for row 2 change. And we can 1, -7, 4, 2. And then we have 0, 29, -12, 3. And then we have -8, 3, 5, 7. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to save this matrix. So I'm going to hit this stow button. It means save it, store. So I'm going to save this in second matrix, and I'm going to go down. I want to save that in B. Okay. So when I hit enter, now B is this new matrix. The reason why I need to do that because now I'm going to be editing this matrix. Okay, I can't do, maybe we can do more than one row at a time, but I'm not sure, so I want to do one at a time. So now that I've done row 2, we're going to do row 3. Okay, so from here I'm going to go second matrix. I'm going to arrow over to math. I'm going to arrow up to times plus a row. We're now going to be doing this operation. So we're going to be multiplying by 8. This time we're using matrix B because I want to keep this row changed and just change this one now. So I'm going to go second matrix, and we're going to go for 2 for matrix B. We're going to be multiplying row 1, so I'm going to put a number 1, and then we're going to be adding that to row 3. So I'm going to do a number 3, and then close, and then enter. And what you see is this augmented matrix here. So everything should match up if we've done our work correctly by hand. Okay, but it just does it in an instant for you. But you still need to know what's going on and how this is happening. That's the whole reason behind this. Okay, so I'm going to insert all those values. 1, -7, 4, 2, 0, 29, -12, -3, 0, -53, 37, and 23. Now, if you ever want to know more about using the calculator and finding information about this, you can just Google search matrix row operations. If you want to see it in the calculator, you can just say TI-83, and it also works with the 84. But you can Google search this, and it will help you see some other YouTube videos. Not Google search, YouTube, and you'll see some other videos of people who have used this method.